are two ways where you don't have to deal with the underarm hair as often and you can still have smooth fits. So you did everything the internet told you to do to lighten your underarms. The lemons, the brightening deodorants, maybe even ditched the deodorants and you started using glycolic acid. However, time after time, you find yourself in a vicious cycle of having to relighten the underarms over and over and over again. But friend, this thing on, sorry to break it to you, but it's your hair removal method. And it's simple. The more you remove your hair, the more susceptible you become to discoloration. Now hold up. Before you turn off this video, you ain't gotta go full bush underneath there unless you want to. But stick around because in today's video, I am here with the tea to break you out of that constant cycle and regain your sanity. Because you'll be able to just throw your hands up in the air and wave them around like you just don't care. So first things first, you know you don't have to do a damn thing, right? Yep, you can leave those underarms alone and let them underarm. Besides which, in areas like the underarm where there's constant skin-on-skin friction, there's going to be some natural discoloration because, you know, like I just said, the skin is rubbing up against the skin. Otherwise, what you gonna do? Keep your arms outstretched like this? Like, okay. But if you insist on manicuring the underarm area, I understand, I also like to do mine as well. You gotta remove the hair less often. And don't turn the video off because that's not what you think it means. So there are two ways where you don't have to deal with the underarm hair as often and you can still have smooth fits. But before we get into that, we need to talk about some other not so obvious reasons why you might have discoloration underneath your arms. Now, remember, irritation can lead to inflammation that can lead to hyperpigmentation. So anything that irritates your skin could lead to hyperpigmentation. Which also means the less you irritate the skin underneath your arms, the less likely you are to develop hyperpigmentation. Now, one culprit you might not realize that's causing the discoloration underneath your arms is your deodorant. Even your natural deodorant, especially a natural deodorant. See, the thing with natural deodorants, a lot of them tend to contain ingredients in them that can irritate your skin. You could also be irritated by your hair removal method. Some people are allergic to nickel, which is why a lot of times you'll see some razors that say that they're nickel free. You might also be allergic or sensitive to your depilatory cream, your wax. And again, if you get irritated by something, it opens up your chances to get hyperpigmentation. Heck, lemon might seem like a great idea because you're like, it's natural, except lemon can be really irritating for some people. And because the underarm area is constantly under occlusion, whatever you put underneath your underarms, lemon, glycolic acid, you know, whatever, can get intensified because your arms are constantly under pressure like this, which can make whatever you put underneath your arms more powerful. And if it's more powerful and you're already irritated by it, you might become even more irritated by it and get discoloration. So basically, watch what you put underneath your arm. Always do a patch test before you put anything new underneath there. All right, now let's circle back to the main event, which is the hair. And the constant removal of the hair can be another reason why you're getting discoloration. So consider each act of hair removal, whether you're shaving, you're using an epilator, you're waxing, you're sugaring, etc., as stirring the pot. You're essentially rolling the dice in the ingrown hair lottery, increasing your chances of getting ingrowns each time you remove the hair. So ingrown hairs are hairs that get trapped under the skin as it grows back. Now, with people of color, our hairs tend to be curlier, so we tend to be more prone to ingrown hair. So as the hair's growing up and it curls, sometimes that curl curves over, gets stuck into the skin. When that happens, the skin is like, what is going on here? Oh God. And then the skin just starts to get like scared and it's like, oh my God, there's a trauma, there's something happening here. And anytime something like that happens, our skin overproduces melanin, which, you know, is gonna be the dark spots that you see, right? So the skin is freaking out. It's like, oh my God, what's happening here? There could be an infection, what have you. The skin reacts to that by sending a whole bunch of extra melanin to the area. Now, although that was a dramatic reenaction, it's pretty damn close to what could happen every single time that you're removing your hair. Every time you remove the hair and it grows back, you have that chance of getting the ingrowns, and you get the ingrowns, you get the discoloration. So to combat that and to get closer to those smoother underarms that you're looking for, you have to remove the hair less often. And if you never have to remove a hair ever again, even better. And there are two methods that you can do this with: laser hair removal and electrolysis. So laser hair removal, and yes, you can get laser hair removal even with darker skin, but you need two things. things. You need to have the right laser and the right person using that laser. You cannot have one without the other. Laser hair removal is the permanent reduction of the hair growth cycle. So basically, after you have your sessions, typically 8 to 12, although some people may need more, after that happens, your hair grows in slower and slower and slower. For some people, you may never see those hairs again. For some people, if the hairs grow back, they might be so like fine and so like that it's like, whatever, that hair is not really bothering me. I don't even need to remove it. So I had laser done underneath my arms, and at first I did 8 sessions, and then I also bought a maintenance package, where I could zap any like stragglers that, come up down the line. My last session I got was in, I want to say April 2024, and then I didn't do any sessions because I kept forgetting until April 2025. And in between that year, there was hair there, but it was like nowhere near as much hair as I would grow before I got laser hair removal. Because I mean, before laser hair removal, if I waited a year to shave or wax or anything like that, I would have enough hair underneath there to get a silk press with like major hang time. Okay, great. Now what does this cost? I'm gonna tell you. So first of all, costs vary greatly depending on who you go to, where you live, how many sessions you need, yada, yada, yada. So this is just an average cost just to give you an idea. So sessions can be anywhere from $75 to $150 per session, which is gonna round out to maybe about $450 to $900 to get your full sessions, which, sometimes they say 6 to 8, probably closer to 8 to 12. Everybody's different though, but that's just the average cost. Now, some cons about laser hair removal. One, it's not permanent. It only permanently reduces the hair growth cycle. So you might still need to get maintenance zaps every now and again. But that's only if the hair that comes back doesn't bother you, because it's very, it's usually very fine and, like almost nothing. Then, you're good to go. Another con though is that it doesn't work on very light or gray hairs. Now, another longer term option for hair removal for the underarms is electrolysis. Now, the thing with electrolysis though, although it's permanent hair removal, they gotta take them hairs out one hair at a time. So they use a little electric current, they zap the hair follicle, and then they remove the hair follicle one at a time. Now, as you can imagine, you take a little look underneath your arms and you see how many hair follicles that you can see with your naked eye, because you might got a lot more than that underneath there. It's gonna take a while. However, it is permanent removal of the hair follicle. But keep in mind, the hair follicles are not all on the same growth cycle. So, like think of it as like a family, right? The baby hair follicle, then you got the teenage hair follicle, then you got the mommy hair follicle, then you got the grandma hair follicle, the great grandma hair follicle, the great great mama hair follicle. So all of these are on different cycles, growth cycles, life cycles. So it might take some time to really, get in there and get rid of those hairs. Now, one great thing about electrolysis, aside from laser hair removal, electrolysis works on all skin types and skin colors and all hair colors, including gray hairs. Now you might be like, Danielle, how much does electrolysis cost? So the average cost per session for electrolysis, and again, cost can vary depending on where you live, who you go to, but the average cost is between $60 and $100 for a 30-minute session. And then the total cost, so you're gonna need to obviously do it more than one time, can range anywhere between $800 to $1,500. Now, mind you, electrolysis is permanent. However, they have to take those hairs out individually, one hair at a time. So for the underarms, it can take 15 to 30 sessions, which can, spaced out over time, can be over a year. Now, what some people do is they'll get laser hair removal, and then for any remaining stragglers, they'll do electrolysis. So you might look into kind of combining the both if possible. Now, as you can see, both of these are pretty big investments, both in money as well as your time, because you got to go out and go get these sessions done. But if you're truly after even toned skin underneath the arms without having to constantly be in this cycle, then it might be worth the investment for you. Now, the great thing about knowing all of this is that once you stop whatever it is that's irritating your skin and causing the discoloration, whether it's removing your hair or irritating products, once you stop using it, you'll notice that the underarms will fade over time without you having to do much. But there are also products like the Topicals Brightening and Cleansing Bar that you can use to kind of help it along. But as always, always, before you put anything new underneath your arms, do a patch test to make sure that, to see if it's going to be something that's going to irritate your skin. Now, if you're thinking about taking the plunge into either electrolysis or laser hair removal, or you're like, you know what, I hear you on this, but I'm gonna stick besides them other methods, this video right here is your all access pass, because we're talking about all the pros and cons of the various ways that you can remove hair everywhere. All the comparisons, the comfort levels, the maintenance commitments, and those unspoken truths about body hair removal. Talking all about it here. Click on this video right here, and I'll see you there.